So, I wanted to talk about this very quickly because I was yesterday talking to our house rep for this area, Jimmy Gordon of 28A from Minnesota, and he brought up how he is a fan of Michael Knowles and how he watches Michael Knowles here and there. So, he's not a character I have a lot of familiarity with. So, I decided to check out some of his content and see what he's all about. So here's a video I found. It's from earlier today, 11 hours ago. I watched it earlier, and I think there's a lot of things in it that are worth talking about because I think it's an extremely problematic thing to look at. And if this is what our House representatives are watching and agreeing with, I think that that's somewhat concerning and something that we should probably look into because it's not a great look. So here's the video.
Speaking of numbers, speaking of big numbers, the Call Her Daddy podcast gal is weighing in
Alex
on
Cooper.
Girls' body counts, weighing in on promiscuity and how that affects relationships
These
and marriages.
conservative men explaining what's right with
My boyfriend
these
has a very
body
big
counts.
issue
Here we
with
go.
my past. He found my list of people I have been with, and he was pissed. He actually broke up with me initially, but after a while, we got back together. The issue now is I feel like he is constantly making judgmental comments about me being easy or having a high body count. He always says he's just kidding, but how can I get him to stop caring that I was with guys before him? I feel like
My thought is your boyfriend's being a fucking dick. He understands that you have a past before him. He can't change that. It's not really a big deal. If you respect this person and you value them now, it shouldn't matter who they were with beforehand if you trust that they're going to stay with you and that they are loyal to you. And if you're making jokes and comments like that, that's hurting her feelings, that's something that needs to be talked about, and she should bring it up. Say, hey, this is upsetting me. This is hurting my feelings. I would ask that you stop doing this. I don't care for it. And that does not appear to be the solution he takes, because if your boyfriend won't stop making these jokes about you, if they make you uncomfortable, probably not the person to be with. That's my thought. Let's see what Michael here has to say.
every single girl has a list of the guys she's ever been with. Like, how fun.
I guess we'll listen to Alex
remember
first.
the men that have been inside of me, and I have a
wasn't
husband,
ready.
and that's okay. This sounds like a really insecure or possessive man.
It does,
We've
yeah.
all lived.
It's
We've
exactly
all
what it
had a good
sounds
time.
like.
And if anything, everyone we've been with prior to has helped us become the person we are today. I think your answer next time he says that, if you were
I
just
couldn't
being
agree with that
catty,
more.
is like, what's your point? I was so easy. What's your point? Do you not want to be with me anymore? He's like, well, no, I'm just saying, like, I'm really shocked, like, how easy you were. What's your point?
I
What's your
think that's
point?
nothing wrong with that.
Are you trying to
either.
put me down right now?
The
Or
stated
do you want me
goal
to get
appears
upset?
to
Do you want me to
be
defend myself?
to
Like,
make her
you
feel
let me
bad
know
about
what,
that. So I
what's
think
your
this
point.
isn't
What
the
do you
batteries-
want me to
a bad
do?
way of addressing it.
You want me to leave? You want me to call them? Do you want me to detail everyone for you? Do you want me to pretend you're the first person I've ever had sex with? Like, what do you want? What will make you feel better? You little f***ing bitch boy.
I think there's nothing wrong with just first going to them and saying, hey, this hurts my feelings. I think we should discuss this. And then seeing how this goes. I think that what Alex said is not an insane thing to do either, though, because admittedly, if he's bringing up body count and trying to make jokes about that to make you feel bad, he is insecure and he is trying to put you down. Michael disagrees with this take, and he has a much more frustrating take.
What do you want? If I were that guy, what I would want is for her to admit that she did something wrong.
You only think that she did something wrong, though, if you believe that there's anything wrong with being with somebody before you're in your current relationship. Many of us have passed. A lot of us have been with people before our current relationship. There's nothing inherently wrong with that. He is making some sort of moral judgment and saying that if she's been with somebody beforehand, you know, that's an issue, but it's not an issue. Everyone has relationships. Everyone's got certain stuff going on. And if your partner can't understand that, you know, you're going to have that past and that that doesn't mean that you're still with those partners, that you're still have feelings with them. It just means that that was your past. You can have your past and that have nothing to do with who you are now when it comes to your relationship status or how you look at those old other people or your past relationships, whether you were with a lot of people or weren't with hardly any people. It doesn't affect who you are now. It shouldn't change your relationship now.
That hurt me, that hurt him, the boyfriend or the husband in this situation.
The boyfriend should
and just
understand
acknowledge that.
going
That's what I
back
would
into this
want
relationship.
if I were
If he
that
can't
guy.
handle it, he should
She
not
says,
be with
"What
her.
is he? He sounds like a really possessive guy. If you don't want a possessive guy, why are you married?" What?
I feel like using the word possessive is kind of a really odd way of looking at it. I think you should be looking at it more as a partner, not a possessive person, because possessive feels like it implies some level of ownership or some level of control over you, and I don't think that should be the way that we're looking at relationships.
What's the point? If you don't, if you don't want your husband to feel a bit possessive of you, why are you getting married? Marriage involves possession. It involves belonging
Michael.
one to another. Why would you even be in a relationship? Why would you even date someone in an exclusive way if you don't want to be possessive? Being
It's about a
exclusive
partnership. It
means
doesn't mean
and entails
they have
being a little
ownership
possessive.
over you and possession
She
of you.
did something wrong.
No, she did not.
Why?
She did nothing wrong being with previous partners. There's nothing inherently wrong with that. That's where he is disagreeing with his or with Alex and her former person. There's nothing wrong with being with other people. This is something that he fundamentally disagrees with. You can't, this is going to end up being you'll only then be with a virgin, or if you are with somebody who has been in previous relationships, you feel like they have to always be apologetic about that. That's ridiculous. I think that that's stupid.
Why is the guy making the snide comments? He shouldn't do that either. But the reason he's doing that is because he's hurt. He's hurt because she did something wrong to him, maybe before she even met him.
If you're hurt and something that your partner did hurt you, you should talk about it and communicate that directly. You should not be making comments toward them about things that they've done or jokes at their expense or things like that. You should talk to them and have an open conversation with them and open dialogue. If you're not able to have that, you are not fit to be in a relationship. You are too immature and cannot actually handle your own emotions. You need to be able to express what you are feeling without trying to put your partner down. That's an extremely dangerous way of going about a relationship.
But when a woman is promiscuous, she is harming, she is injuring her future husband.
That's absurd. I think that that's ridiculous and stupid. I think there's nothing wrong with people being with other people. Who gives a shit? We're all people. We can all have relationships. We can all do these things. It's about then the relationship you're in now. Are you faithful now? If she's been faithful now, you have no reason to be upset about this. You understood that she had previous partners when you went back to her. Also, I can't imagine this is being said in the same way towards the men. The men, it doesn't seem like this is ever talked about in the side of the men, where people are like, this man's been with so many people beforehand. I think that's a judgment on him, or he should feel bad and forgive and ask for forgiveness from his wife, and that she should be she's allowed to be upset about that. You don't talk about that on the other end, and I think that is something that people should consider a little bit.
Just a fact. And it's going to cause him pain.
If it causes him
even
pain,
if she hasn't
you
met
should
him
talk
yet.
about it.
Because it's painful to think of the woman you love having done things with other guys. It's
Potentially, but you still have to be able to have an open dialogue and not be a dickhead about it.
painful. Any guy in the world will tell you that. And so, whatever, we all do bad
And if he can't handle that, he shouldn't be in the relationship.
things. And you can move on. And it's whatever. It's this culture that we're in, and we accept that, there are fallen aspects of the world, and we try to do better. But you need to acknowledge it. That's the issue. The reason the insecure boyfriend keeps making the snide remarks is because you won't acknowledge that you did something wrong. It was wrong for you to sleep around.
No, it was not. You can sleep around if you want. There's nothing inherently immoral or wrong about that. People like Micheal Knowles will argue there is. I don't see any reason why there's anything wrong with sleeping around and being with other people. Who cares? You're not harming anybody. You can make a moral argument that you should be saving yourself for your partner, but that's ridiculous. I think that that's stupid. People can be in relationships. It's fine. Also, if the partner cannot handle that the other person's been in previous relationships without being rude and making snide remarks, they should not be in the relationship.
And you should acknowledge it, that it was wrong.
You can acknowledge it, that's
and
fine.
you should I don't know. Maybe say you're
doesn't have to
sorry.
be wrong,
Even if you
though.
don't, at least acknowledge, like, man, I shouldn't have done that. That was bad, huh?
No, you don't have to do that.
Man, I'm glad I'm better now. I'm glad I've turned my life around.
Saying better now implies that there was something wrong with you, and as I've said, I don't think there was anything wrong with you. Michael does, because
Because part of the insecurity for that guy is, well, hold on, if she didn't think there was anything wrong with that, who knows? Maybe you should do it again.
No, you can just say it was a stage in my life. I was more promiscuous then, and I'm not so now. You can be fine with that. There's no need to make this a moral argument. Also, again, Michael's not putting any of the blame on the actual man who's being rude and being disrespectful to his girlfriend.
I'm investing my life into this woman, but she didn't treat herself with the value and the dignity that I treat her. There seems to be a mismatch in price here.
No, this is
who's right,
absurd
who's
again.
wrong. Yeah, I've really changed, honey, and I did bad things when I was young, but I've changed, and I've become a more dignified, serious person now, and I'm
wanna
actually
be
worthy
Michael Knowles'
of
partner.
the love that you've given to me, and maybe I wasn't then, and anyway, I'm sorry. That's it. But the woman can't face it because she's drunk on feminism, which is only going to make the problem worse. And then the guy's going to
Feminism,
behave in a
that's the
feminist way
issue.
too,
Oh,
not acting like a man, acting like a little snide
the guy's going to be a feminist, or he's saying more feminine. He doesn't.
girl. Make these little snide comments, these little jokes.
lot of
But,
casual
jokes always
sexism
have a
in
little
here.
element of truth to them. That's it. And she can help him get over it, but you got to acknowledge reality. You just have to
Michael,
acknowledge
thank you
reality
for
at the
that.
very least. I need you to go
Dumbass.
to
We're not
Everyday
watching this
Dose.
ad read. Overall, I think it's a very concerning way to look at relationships and people who've been in previous relationships. There's nothing wrong with that. You can be in previous relationships. You can have previous partners, but treat your partner with respect. Do not shame them for their past if they are different now. If your partner is still promiscuous while you're in your relationship, you obviously can be upset about that. However, if they're a different person now and they've been committed to you and they haven't shown any reason for you to be upset with them about the way they're acting, then why are you upset with that? You're focusing on the past and then trying to shame your partner about the way they acted in the past, even though there's nothing wrong with the way they acted in the past. And overall, I think it's just a concerning way of looking at things, especially because this is content that our house rep is watching and supporting. So, if he has any weird views on relationships and marriage, this makes sense where it comes from. That is about it. Thank you for watching.